Hello, here's my testimony part 2 of how I came back to faith. On the previous episode, I spoke very brief about how my life was before my faith until a gift in disguise was given to me. I started to suffer chronic hip pain. In spite of this, I kept up with the nightly salsa and tango social dancing. Yes, I did that for fun. I was taking prescribed painkillers, but the pain went from bad to worse. I was getting more and more limited in my activities. Eventually, I had to quit dancing altogether. After going for a couple of years of every type of alternative and modern medicine and treatment I could find around, thinking they were going to heal me, I found out that I had a very advanced arthritis and dysplasia on my hips. I would need a surgery and both hips replaced. By that time, I had lived with this pain for at least 5 years, trying to find someone to heal me. And it was only getting worse every day. I started feeling that soon I was going to end up in a wheelchair. Then I started to think this was a sign from God asking me to change my life, to slow down. At that moment, I was being forced to slow down and reflect in life. This happened in 2013. Until that day has not ended yet, that I wanted to share that journey with you. God worked on mysterious ways. Even that I didn't live a godly life, I always believed somehow that there was a God. And I felt that I had a guardian angel looking after me, taking care of me during many occasions. But how did I find my faith? One day, I met someone who soon became very dear to me. When she asked me what my religion was, I told her I was Catholic, but I didn't go to church, nor did I believe in Mary's virginity. As for Jesus, I thought he was a good man or one of the greatest gurus, and not much more. Now I began to wonder what kind of Catholic I was anyway. I was surprised she wasn't angry at my response. She simply asked me, "Do you believe in God is Almighty?" I said yes, and that I had to believe there is a God. Looking around at the world and everyone in it, I knew there had to be someone who created everything, a one God. Then she asked me, why couldn't Mary have a baby while remaining virgin if God wanted so? At that moment, I realized she was devout Catholic and believed deeply. So I apologized if I hurt her feelings, but she told me there was no need to apologize and actually thanked me for being honest. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. One day, she invited me to see a movie with friends about Padre Pio, a canonized saint in the Catholic Church. The name of the film was Between Heaven and Earth. And another film about my patron saint, the Apostle Paul. This film was titled St. Paul the Apostle. I remember she was always talking to me about St. Paul and urging me to see the film because I was named after him. So I did. While watching both of these movies, I didn't show any emotion. I didn't want anyone to know I was deeply affected by both of the films. I kept a poker face throughout, not showing emotions. I realized that I was open to the faith and decided to see where things led. The truth of the matter was that these movies were shaking me to the core. I no longer knew what I believed, and the Catholic faith started to attract me for the first time. I thought a great deal about Padre Pio and St. Paul. They occupied my thoughts day and night. It was almost like an obsession. I wondered to myself, what's going on? What's happening to me? That night, after I couldn't sleep, I thought myself, this man, Padre Pio, was real. He led an upright life, and his faith was unshakable. God was real in him. I kept silent about it for a few days. Then I texted my friend and told her. I couldn't get Padre Pio out of my head. At that moment, I no longer knew what to think about God, Jesus, Mary, or the faith. I slowly began to realize after meeting new Catholic individuals and priests that many of these people had an authentic faith. I've started to perceive in them not only that they were nice and simple, but also they had peace and joy. One day, over the phone, I asked my friend, "What gives you peace?" She responded, "I pray to God." After exchanging few words about it, out of desperation, I revealed to her that I felt lost, hopeless, and empty. She asked me, "Why don't you pray? Everything I have, I received through prayer. Pray to Jesus and Mary. They love you. Whatever you ask Mary, as long as it is the will of God, she will obtain for you." I couldn't believe the words as it came out of my mouth. I said, "How do you pray? What do I say?" Since we were speaking over the phone, she couldn't know the tears streaming down my face. It was very humbling for me to ask these questions after so many years away from the church and far from God. My soul was crying out in need of God, and I wanted real bad the peace that she had. That will be all for today. I will see you in my next episode, number 3. If you like what you hear, please like us, follow us, comment, and go to 7sorrowsrosaries.com and get a free e-booklet of how to pray the 7 Sorrows Rosary. Also, you will find great selection of all my handmade, unique sterling silver rosaries. You could find something for you or a meaningful gift for someone you care. Always carry a rosary. It is the most powerful weapon to fight all evil. Thank you for listening, and may God bless you all.